Namaste, Jojolapa, and good morning, whoever in this our United States as well as wherever you are. Please just accept our greetings. So, e-heritage, I would like to welcome in our show. We have been producing this program every Saturday morning. When I say morning, this is USA morning time. So I'm in the central zone. It's a 9 o'clock. In Eastern, it is at 10 o'clock, and in Western, it is 7 in the morning. So accept our greetings. And on behalf of all NEWA Organization USA chapter, I would like to yes, welcome you all. Today we have distinguished presenters who are from Hong Kong, and they will be as doing the presentations. And I would like to yes, invite both of them, as well as I have my colleague Prajol Gurzu is also here. I would like to invite. And so before we start our presentation, today is really a very essential one. In our Newa culture, we say nasya, right? Nasya. Whenever we say it, this deity represent for the performance art. So how it has been practicing in different cultures and how it started, all this thing, yeah, we will be getting the presentation on it by Eliza Lau, and she will be helped by Tina Ho. So before we proceed, before we give them the floor, I would like to introduce them. So the first, I would like to introduce Dr. Eliza Lau. Her full name is Dr. Eliza Lau Man E, and she has a lot of expertise. She has done BSc, MCG, BA, MPhil, Buddhist study, Master in Buddhist Studies, PhD, and certified RSA. So Dr. Lau is interested in mind-body health education and has practiced meditation as a personal discipline for more than 10 years. Her first meditation practice was in the Theravada tradition and under the guidance of Mr. Siu Sik Kao at the Chi Lin Evening College of Buddhist Studies. She also learned meditation from Venerable Sik Hin Hung and did a research on contemporary meditators while completing her Master of Buddhist Studies at the Center of Buddhist Studies, Hong Kong University. She has also studied MBSR taught by Dr. Helen Ma. Dr. Lau became a student of Yongey Mingyu Rinpoche in 2009, and since then, she is affiliated with Terga Meditation Center Hong Kong and is a meditation facilitator at Target Asia. Dr. Lau shares meditation techniques and experiences with different age groups and people from all walks of life, ranging from primary students to elderlies in the community. Since 2018, Eliza joined Dance Mandal Hong Kong and practiced Sarya Nritya under the guidance of Lian Hunt and Prajol Ratna Bajracharya until now. Dr. Lau is now the program director in the field of education at Bodhi Love Foundation and executive officer at the University of Hong Kong Center of Buddhist Studies. So I welcome Eliza Lau. Now I would like to introduce Tina Ho. Dr. Tina Ho focused on Chinese Buddhism teaching more than 15 years. She connected with Venerable Yongey Mingyu Rinpoche from 2008 and started to learn Tibetan meditation. In 2014, she met Charya Vajra dance teacher Li An Takechu Hunt and received initiation from Prajol Ratna Bajracharya. In 2015, in Hong Kong, she visited Nritya Mandala Mahavihara in Portland, Oregon in 2016, and further her Charya Nritya practice in 2019 in Kathmandu Valley, under the guidance of Prajwal Gurju. She is now one of the main coordinator of Dance Mandal in Hong Kong since 2019 and carry on practicing Charya Nritya. So I welcome you both, and I welcome you all the yes dignitaries in our Zoom, as well as all the people in the yes who is watching us. So I would like to give the floor to today's presenter, Dr. Eliza Lau.
Thank you, Pramesh. Thank you. So may I actually just now Pramesh said I'm going to present assisted by Tina Ho. Actually, it's the other way around. Actually, Tina helped me to prepare the whole presentation, but then I'm the person who speaks it out. That's all. That Tina has spent lots of time doing the research in the past few weeks. Okay. So may I now start sharing the PowerPoint?
Yes, please.
Right. Okay. Now, today our topic is the blessing of Padmanateswor. Perhaps maybe just a very brief explanation of what this name Padmanateswor means. It means one of the manifestations of Avalokiteshvara with 10 arms. And so maybe in my presentation, and I will then explain to you, our connection with Padmanateswor and how we come about, wanting to present this topic. Okay, so my presentation will be three main parts. The first part is about actually, just now I said Padmanateswor is one of Avalokiteshvara, and in fact is one of the 108 forms of Avalokiteshvaras that is available to us in our cultural heritage. So I will spend some time on that. And the second part of my presentation would be, in fact, Padmanateswor is the idam of Charya Nritya. And so I will explain a little bit more how Charya Nritya is guided by this patron. And then thirdly, I will, because I'm from Hong Kong, I will also spend some time and share with you all a story how we, Dance Mandal Hong Kong, gets inspiration and blessing from Padmanateswor. So that comprises the three parts of my presentation. So going back to the origin, perhaps, may I just bring you to a very important place in Nepal, Kathmandu Valley, and it's this temple, Jana Bahal. In Chinese, we call it the White Kuan Yin Temple, and it's one of the 18 prominent bahars of the Kathmandu Valley. I'm sure people from Nepal know much more than me. So in fact, why do I bring your attention to this temple? It's because of its outer walls. On its outer walls, we can see bronze reliefs of the 108 Lokeswaras or Avalokiteshvaras there. Now, these 108 Avalokiteshvara definitely is very, very ancient and rich source of insight for many practitioners to come. So perhaps may I then start sharing how this source of insight gets its place to various locales. Now, one of the artists in Nepal with the name of Lok Shitraka, he spent 12 years in retreat to complete the painting of these 108 Avalokiteshvaras and only completed recently in 2020. And this is another of a picture of his work. Now, then apart from the artists and practitioners of Kathmandu itself, then we also, in our research, we very interestingly discover actually something much closer to us, and that is Japan and Taiwan. Now let me start with Japan. Now there was a monk by the name of Hindanobu Takaroka, and he in the 70s he is a scholar, a monk, and very interested in ancient cultural heritage, in Buddhism. And he went to Nepal and in the 70s and met this practitioner, Amoga Vajra, and studied with him and started his research on ancient Buddhist traditions and temple statues. And he spent 2 years of research and he worked on 108 Guanyin woodcut iconology. And it also because of his dedication. And actually, when he saw how the people in Nepal have totally faith and dedication and devotion in this 108 Avalokiteshvaras, and he was very, very impressed and touched. And so he vowed to bring this very rich culture from Nepal to Japan. And that's why he started his artwork of this woodcut print so that he can spread this culture, make more people know about this 108 Avalokiteshvaras. And so between 75 and 80s, in a few years' time, and he worked with local artists and also a group of believers and supporters, and then worked on this 108 woodcut prints of Avalokiteshvaras, and it was created successfully. Apart from that, actually, this monk, Hidenobu, he actually had contributed a great deal to the restoration of ancient cultural heritage in Nepal. So definitely his work is something that is really, it becomes a treasure of its own, I would say. Now this is his work. This is a collection of his woodcut print. And so, as I said, as I put in this slide, so he became interested in the 108 Lokeshwaras, and he wished to introduce this very precious tantric heritage. So he worked with local artists and devotees and so on. And then he produced this woodcut print collection. Each piece of paper is handmade. Each piece of paper is actually made from materials collected in Himalayas. And the work got completed in 1979, 1980s. Now, very interestingly, he is not the only person who is interested and amazed by this very rich cultural heritage. Someone in Taiwan by the name of Venerable Xing Dao, he actually was very interested in Guanyin, Avalokiteshvara, since he was young. And he heard that there were this 108 manifestations and portraits of Avalokiteshvara in Nepal, and he was very interested. And he started to hunt for information on it, and he wanted to have that replica, the same sculpture, the same thing, bring it to Taiwan. So he started working, doing research, and lo and behold, he heard of this monk in Japan, and he got in touch with him and got a lot of inspiration. And actually, when Venerable Xing Dao started his project, they knew very little about exactly what do these 108 Avalokiteshvaras look like. So he said, we started with only one tanka, that's all, right? But it's the devotion, the desire, the wish to learn more and to be connected to Avalokiteshvara that made him look for related sources. And fortunately, he got in touch with Hidenobu Takaroka, and they started doing it in Taiwan. And you can see that here we have three pictures, and we can see the picture on the upper right is the Xing Dao Fashi in Taiwan, and then we have a picture of Hidenobu, the Japanese monk. And then there's one artist, a sculptor by the name of Ning Jiancheng, and he actually worked with he was a great sculptor, and it was his very last project before he passed away in 2018. And so he spent 3.5 years completing the sculpture of, again, is a bronze relief of 108 with Avalokiteshvaras. And now it is being put up in the Ningzhou Mountain Shengshan Temple in Taiwan. So this is the mandala with the 108 amazingly created Avalokiteshvara statues in bronze. Okay, and then also we have, again, going back to Nepal again, we have another very, very famous artist, Thangka artist by the name of Gautam Ratna Vajracharya. He also had painted the 108 Avateswaras, and his work are now kept in various museums. Now, then going back to our theme tonight is Padhmanateswara. So among the 108, this one on our left is Padhmanateswara. And this one on my right, this is the painting by Vajracharya, Padhmanateswara again. And so here, now I will use this slide to enter into the second part of my presentation, and that is on Padhmanateswara herself or himself among the 108 Lokaswaras. In one of the classics texts, Padhmanateswara is considered to be the 92 of the 108 Lokaswaras. Now, here is the sculpture of the statue of Padhmanateswara in this Swayambhu in Nepal, in Kathmandu. And again, he is other artist's portrait painting of Padhmanateswara with 10 arms. It can be man, can be woman, both representations were available. The one on my left here is also painting by Gautam Vajracharya as well. And so Padhmanateswara is considered as the patron or the yidam of Charya Nutya, the Lord dancing on Padma, meaning 1,000 petal lotus. And so now this will bring us to the Charya Nutya tradition, which is a Nuwa Buddhist tradition of the Kathmandu Valley. And the Charya Nutya meaning dance as a spiritual discipline. And now it's not just in Nepal, it's all over the world, even coming to Hong Kong, we are practicing Charya Nutya. Now, perhaps I would like to spend some time on our yidam, describing him or her to all of you. The Lord dancing on Padma, Padmanateswara's initial gesture is to indicate the wisdom of the heart. With the second one, he touches the heaven, and the third, the earth. All the other symbols he holds in his hands refer to the Buddha Dharma and about one making decision to follow this path. The blue lotus refers to the gentle, infinite wisdom of the sky while using your muscles for action. For on your journey, the possibilities of gaining wisdom are infinite. The initiation into Padmanateswara is to incarnate this wisdom by dancing, and by dancing, share it with all. So we would consider Padmanateswara as the source of artistic inspiration of joy, compassion, and equanimity. He opens up the path for the practitioners to attainment and success, leading to wisdom. Now she or he has 10 arms. Okay, let me just spend a little bit time on the 10 arms and what they represent, what they symbolize. On the deity's right, the hand placed before his chest and heart is held the Jnana Mudra, the mudra of wisdom. The topmost hand points to heaven, the symbol of diamond emptiness. His lower hand holds a lotus Padma, symbol of purity and enlightenment. The next hand holds an arrow aimed at any psychic target the dancer god envisions. And the fifth hand on the right, the hand above it holds the circular prayer mala, suggesting continuous prayer. On the deity's left, his top left hand holds an axe to combat and conquer all iniquities and psychological hazards as they may appear. And the next lower hand holds the bow, waiting to be joined by the arrow. The ceremonial bell in the next lower hand announces the advent of divine fulfillment. The last but one left hand holds the Kadvangar, the staff representing spiritual ram. And the 10th, the hand held before the raised right foot is shown in the mudra of pointing to, touching the earth. So the ways to connect to Padmanateswara are as follows. Through body, so there is the Charya dance of Padmanateswara, and dance is meditation itself. We meditate on all the enlightened qualities of this deity. Speech, we have the Gite, the song, the Padhmanateswor song, and recitation of mantra. And mind, we practice sadhana and visualization, and then through, of course, rituals like empowerment. So Charya practice is to awaken Buddhahood, to manifest transformation. So the dancing god is an intimate personal guide of all the Charya students. And let me use the beginning 2 lines of the Padhmanateswor Gite, the song, to share with you. It says, Padma, excuse my Sanskrit's not very accurate, I try. Padma Nateswara Chandra Rupa Rupa Dari, meaning Padmanateswara, the god of dance, has this moonlight face, and Sukhi Nachari Mocha Magalaya, with pleasure, happiness, she's dancing, and then with giving you all the path of liberation. So here is the 3rd part of my presentation about how we connect to Padhmanateswor in Hong Kong in 2020, a very problematic year all over the world, in fact. We're very much inspired by our patron, our Yidam. But then 2020 is in the midst of social unrest, as you all know, heard from the world news. And then following that, the eve of the pandemic. And so how did we then, be connected to Padhmanateswor in such very tricky times, and still with the intention, pure intention of bringing peace, harmony, and health to Hong Kong? So I'm like to spend the next few minutes on our story. Now, our plan was in 2019, at the end of 2019, I visited Portland, Vihara, my teacher's Vihara in Portland in June. And I came back to Hong Kong. Tina and I said that we must bring our teacher to Hong Kong. So we decided 2019 we will have a teaching tour of our teacher coming to Hong Kong. And also we have a retreat, open talks, workshops, and a dance gala night and so on. So we designed a poster already. And then we, started preparing, posters, inviting students, and people paid deposits and so on. However, suddenly, approaching 2020, February, the pandemic is here. And there's so much fear, obstacles that like one after another, like, okay, these are our obstacles. Okay, the pandemic is there on our doorstep. Our teacher couldn't come, obviously, because air travel has been very, very problematic. And the venue that we planned to have our gala performance actually became a quarantine center. So we have to cancel that, right? Because our teacher wouldn't come. So we planned to have him to take up major dance offerings, but then we have to change our program. There's no teacher, only us. But then there's one thing very special, and that is we have decided to put our performance on the Avalokitesvara Day in March in Hong Kong, because it's a very auspicious day, and that's what we want to do for Hong Kong. So we can't miss this auspicious day, so we want to do it. So we discussed with our teacher and said, shall we go ahead, and still we want to have that dance offering. And the teacher very compassionately said, yes, go ahead, we'll support you. So we go ahead. But then we have to form our production team. We have very limited budget, so it's all through friends, makeup artist, stage manager. And very interestingly, if for those who know about the Charya Nute practice, we have the crown, the ornaments, and the full set of costumes and so on. And actually it was, at least for myself and Tina, it was the first time we have the full gear. We thought that our teacher is to come and help us to put that on and teach us what to do, but we have to learn ourselves and actually learn from him through Zoom again. And another thing that worried us so much is, although we try our best to put up that performance, but will people come because of the pandemic? And so we have to take care of our dancers and the audience. So big questions, are we going to go ahead? Apart from that, we have more challenges. Because of the pandemic, all the problems, our spirit within our group started to kind of like went up and down. And because some of our dancers are actually quite new, and they were so worried that, you know, oh, they won't appear nice on stage and blah, blah, blah. And they forgot that actually it's not really just a dance, it is a spiritual practice. So it's through, we have to go through a lot of like sharing and also remind ourselves about our commitment, our conviction, and so on, before we just still hold our hands and say, all right, let's go ahead with it. And then one last thing, and the last point that I put there is the whole idea of embracing differences. Maybe we can share it with you a little bit later in our discussion. And that is, it's something that Tina and I went through when we took the whole group and we do the rehearsals on the few dances. And we reckon that actually the important thing is that as long as people are willing and happy and put their whole effort to it, we should accept whatever body form that, you know, appears in front of our eyes. So we will perhaps because of time, I will speak a little bit more on that. So with all the challenges, obstacles, and so on, it is to happen. So on the day, on the 12th of March 2020, it happened. We have a Avalokitesvara night. And on that night, we dance Padhmanateswor, and we dance a few other dances like Wintara, Vaitara, Avalokitesvara, Refuge, and the 16 offering goddesses. Very interestingly, because our original venue had changed into a quarantine center, so we have to change the venue. And lo and behold, we found a place which is a church venue, a Christian church. The pastor there was so open-minded. He said, no problem, you know, we respect all religions, come. I'm not afraid of the pandemic, you know, as long as you keep yourself or your audience masked, that's fine, you know. So we had it there, and it's a very, very nice venue. The second challenge we have is stage design. The stage design. One of us, Sheldon, one of our sisters, thought that, oh, I must have a floral sort of mandala for that stage. And our stage manager said, hang on a minute, you were dancing. And so many of you, do you think the flowers would stay on the floor? And we had a big argument and so on. But Sheldon, our sister, insists, yes, it will stay. And lo and behold, not even one petal moved in the whole performance of 1.5 hours. But this is our, and of course, when we did the mandala, we all, you know, meditate, and we did it with our full devotion and so on. And so to cut the long story short, the blessing is right here. And it was a very successful evening. We danced all the dance that we wanted to do with the last one, as the Padhmanateswor. We all participated in it. Yeah, this is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 of us in Dance Mantle Hong Kong at that time. Now we have a few more newcomers. Now this is Padhmanateswor, all in white. This is another shot of Padhmanateswor dancing on lotus. And lo and behold, our audience was so touched by it that social distancing became like out of the window. They came and joined us in the mandala and took a final picture after the performance. We were so touched, and we lit our lamps, lotus lamps, and we wished Hong Kong peace and health. Very touching moment, I must say. And then following that, in October, we then become more like more active, and then we joined the International Charyanute Conference in October through Zoom. And so this is our the Zoom venue where we booked the venue, and we have these other people are also they're not yet dancers, they might become, and they are our stage helpers. They are very, very creative, and they help us to make this possible. And so last definitely is this not the end, but perhaps the beginning of our journey. I would like to use this phrase to conclude, and that is letting go but not giving up. You know, sometimes in life we come across so many obstacles, difficulties, and things not up to our expectation, and so on and so forth. Sometimes, you know, one just cannot insist. You know, you just have to let go when the conditions, you know, are not right or not there. However, letting go and be relaxed does not mean giving up. We just can, as one of my teachers would say, we just take another road. Our aim, our goal is still there. We just take another row or maybe take a rest, take it more slowly, but still we don't forget, where we are heading. So finally, I'd like to conclude with the chorus of the Padhmanateswor song in here. And again, it's in Sanskrit. It's Karuna, Mudita, Maitri, Sama, Dristi, Laya. It means with compassion, with joy and bliss, the bliss of seeing, of delighting in other people's well-being, and with loving kindness, whatever, and it's all the same, all sentient beings, whatever my eyes sees, I will give. And with this wonderful guidance and love and blessing of Padhmanateswor, I'm sure our group will continue to practice and walk on the path, despite all the other obstacles that might come along. We will just ride on it and then do whatever we can. Thank you.
Thank you, Eliza. So I was so touched. I mean, being a Newa and being a I was born in Kathmandu. I spent most of the time in Kathmandu, and I have been seeing all of these. And Janbaha, where you started the today's topic, that place has been my, almost every day I used to go there. So the way that you have put the words and defining the compassion and how the blessing of Padhmanateswor in our Newa language, we say nasya also. And I have been very, I feel really blessed when, the wealth of the wisdom that you have put here is so amazing. So saying so, Tina, would you like to add anything on this?
Hi, all. Nice to meet you all. First of all, thank you very much.
Yeah, yes, go ahead, Tina.
Yeah. You can, right? Okay, yeah, thanks a lot, Eliza, give it so touching, and this presentation, wonderful. And for me, anything to add, and maybe I add a little bit, maybe I would like Eliza to translate for us. That's a poster. And go back to that page. That is a short script in the poster. That is what we feel about Padhmanateswor. We introduced her or him to Hong Kong.
You want me to go back to the PowerPoint, Tina?
Yes, the page.
Okay.
Page that is, I think, 27 is right.
Hang on a minute. I've closed a shed. Let me share.
I can read in Chinese and then you translate it in English.
You mean the post?
The poster, yeah.
Okay.
Page 27, I think.
This one.
No.
Here?
This one. Yeah. Now on live Facebook, there's also many Hong Kong people here, Chinese people. Maybe I can read in Cantonese and please Eliza to translate it. 來自南亞佛國古老的尼泊爾谷地，神聖的佛教傳承，靜心與舞動的融和，相遇在一個殊勝的晚上。異域神聖的鼓韻下，這一夜是靜與動的相融，無限慈悲的聖者浮現靈明的脈動，唱着舞着，帶來淨化與祝福。
Yes. Just to translate it very briefly, it's an ancient cultural heritage from Southeast Asia, from the ancient place of Nepal in the Kathmandu Valley. We have this sacred Buddhist tradition that that combines peace and movement in together, and they meet in peace of heart and dancing together, and they meet on this very, very special night tonight. And with this blessing of this ancient tradition, and also with the movement and the dance, and the movement, dance, and meditation together, limitless and boundless wisdom and love from the Blessed One, from the deity, appears everywhere among us. So let us sing, let us dance, let all these bring about purification and blessing to Hong Kong. Okay, Tina, shall I stop sharing?
Yes, thank you, Eliza. Yes, actually, because I went to Kathmandu for 2 times. In 2007, I stayed there more than 2 weeks. So I also very happy to be there and invite all of you to go to Kathmandu. We have always say that in Hong Kong that banks that is more than many banks, Hong Kong Bank, Shanghai Bank in Hong Kong, more than those supermarkets. But in Kathmandu Valley, I feel those stupas and temples, Bihara, etc., more than supermarkets. That's just like the kingdom of Buddha. Yes, that's very impressive for me. And if anyone want to have some dialogue, or I carry on?
I want to add a little bit about the presentations. So, you know, the Takawakas, the one who brought to who was very impressed. So Takawaka, I used to know him from my 5 years old when I was 5 years. So just to let you know. And then also he's the one like uh, all the texts will be translated. He was the one, so he started he brought so many different peoples in Nepal to translate all the texts, whatever text is being translated into the Sanskrit to the newer language in the present day, because it goes to the Takawaka. And not only that, like a Takawakas, also the whole professor, like the high levels of intellectual professor, also introduced to the Newa Buddhisms. And now if you see that it's all the texts, like Nispano Yogabali, Sadhana Malas, any like the secret texts, we have nobody done that research in Nepal, which is we Newar people have a hidden in the treasure because of the Takawaka. He is the one that he bring it to the Tachikawa and introduce. And also he is also the, I don't know, my brother's also involved with a lot of his art and paint, and he also draw in 108 Avalokiteshvara as well. That's in the Osaka museums. So if you get a chance to go to Osaka museum, they have every paintings and art of Nepal, which is done with according to traditions or according to texts. Nobody draw the paintings because it's on the text. So the professor from the Osaka museums, they came to Nepal and collected everything and draw every single paintings based on the returns. That's also done. That is in the Osaka Museum. So, and also Takawaka is also the one who is my brother's give a top level of scholarship to go to India to studies. So he studies with my brother studies with the Sanskrit and getting Acharya because of him. So I just want to say, I just really appreciate it. And then every year's past few years, I've been going to the Takaoka, his monastery in Japan for almost 5 years in a continuous to visit him. So he's still there. He's still in the same face when I was seeing in a childhood. So he have a Nagoya. He have a big center in Nagoya. It's called Tokurenji Bihara. And every year they have a big, amazing, elaborate Buddhist birthday celebration that's still happening, and there are more Nepalese introduced to the Nepalese in Japan, or he is the one who introduced to the Newar Buddhisms to the many part of the world. So I just want to say that is Takaoka. I know him from the childhood. He speak in Nepali. He speak Newar language. He also speak Hindi as well. So yeah, that's I have to say to add for the Takaoka thing. So
Thank you so much, Professor Zurai, to adding up on the presentation. So we would like to open the QA session. So is there any questions that, yes, I think Yamuna Yogini, I thought that, yes, she wanted to ask some question. Yes, Yamuna.
I did not want to ask, but I was just trying to express my appreciation. This was so touching, the way you presented this and the whole process that has been happening over more than 1 year now, when everything had to go online and Zoom. And because of this, I had the great fortune to reconnect with Pradwal, whom I met 20 years ago back in Kathmandu to learn dance. And so because you kept going in Hong Kong, I had a chance to join you in the middle of the night, and I was so happy to be part of the presentation in October, and I'm just happy that you're sharing the whole story that happened behind the scenes. So it was really great, really touching. And it's very rare to hear anything about Padhmanateswor, who is so important as the basis of this tradition. You hear about Tara and Manjushri all over the place, but where do you hear more about Padhmanateswor? Thank you.
Thank you, Yamuna. Yes, Daya Sakya.
Thank you so much for both of you. It's very delightful presentation. So because in Newar tradition, when you use the name Padhmanateswor, is definitely Sanskrit term. But in local Newar language, that Padhmanateswor is also used as a nasya. So all the nasya there are very respected shrines everywhere in local places, local localities. But one thing I'm not clear still, that why the nasya there, is it really a Padhmanateswor or something else? In most of the nasya places, there is no image. There is only a hole, and that hole is considered as a source of music, source of dance, source of charya, and source of any kind of human feature that we can learn from that. It's the Natyeswara, like nasya. So when I say nasya, so nasya is the word that we consider as a some kind of feature within human beings, that if somebody is well-known person, but he has no nasya, and that means he's not no longer respectable in a society. So the word nasya means the siddhi. So siddhi in Sanskrit. So siddhi means the ability of being a human. So if an ability of being a human as in a real form, but that human can also act like a dog, right? So that means he has a ability of becoming like a dog in a dance. So that is the nasya you need to heritage. You need to get get the lessons from anyone who you are performing. So for example, like there is a Barahi, there is a Kumari, there is the Bhairava, there is so many different kind, and also Ganesha. So these are the deities form, but the siddhi you get from the nasya. So if you are not able to get the siddhi from nasya, then you will not be able to perform the dance. So those kind of Newar people believe that. So that's why from the presentation of this Padhmanateswor and the nasya, if we compare together, people consider as the same image. But in the Newar tradition, that Padhmanateswor is considered as a nasya, it has no image. So kind of wondering why it is emptiness over there. So every single nasya needs to be worshipped before they perform the dance, before they restart the dancing, dance. For example, there's a dance for the 12 years, there's a dance for every year. So without worshiping nasya, any kind of a musical activity is not performed. So first of all, they have to do that. And there's also, we are talking about the Padhmanateswor as a Buddhist realm, but from the other people, other side, the Hindu people, and they must also have to follow the Natindeswara, not just nasya. So from these two, side of the understanding of the nasya, I mean, it's really complicated to understand the nasya by itself. I don't know whether anybody has studied just about the nasya or just about the Padhmanateswara. So then we will make it some kind of a clear on that. So only in Nepal, this nasya is so much famous, so famous everywhere in localities. But same way, if you talk about the Nitya Nataraja, so Nataraja is a male, male god. It's like a Shiva, so dancing Shiva. So the same dancing Shiva is considered as a nasya in Newa tradition. But from the Buddhist perspective, we are considering the Padhmanateswara as a source of inspiration for the dance and music. So it's really complicated kind of a subject matter we are dealing with right now. So that's why. So from that angle, if anyone from your group looking at the concept of a nasya, so there might be more information we can dig out. So maybe just looking at from the Buddhist perspective, so maybe also looking at from the not Buddhist perspective, people still worship that. So this is my one comment. And then thank you for that. The other thing is when the very first picture I saw the Janamadya, right? Janbadya, Janada. So in a local language, it has become the name, either it is a Janabadya and also Janamadya. So Jana is the people, the public, and the Ma is a female and the Ba is a male. So whether this is a Lokeswara inside the Janabadya, where it's a male or female, this is how both are used, Janabadya and Janamadya. So the paintings decorated surrounding in the temple was drawn by Siddhi Muni Sakya. Siddhi Muni Sakya, so who is from Itumbaha, and then he passed away a long time ago. He was also honored by the Royal Nepal Academy when royal families were still alive at the time. So he was one of the very much famous artists in Itumba, and his father was Ananda Muni. So Ananda Muni painted the welcoming of Buddha in Lumbini. So that painting was very famous. So since a lot of the Newar people, they know how to do the very minor small tanka painting. And one of the paintings of the all 108 Lokeswara in Janbahadya was done by Siddhi Muni Sakya. So at the time I was still in Nepal when it was inaugurated. There was a huge puja. The ritual took place at the time. So this is just a side information for all of you. And then I really, appreciate both of you have done this kind of a work. So definitely we need to keep going study of the Newa heritage. So it is very important for all of us, the new generations, to come up with some, the habit of study of the Newa generation. So I really like to thank you very much for both of you for coming up with this and wonderful topic on that. Promise, back to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Daya Sakya. Thank you so much for adding some of the points that which has very meaningful in this presentation. So I would like to bring you the thing that today the presentation was done by Dance Mandal Hong Kong, and if you see the topic, the blessing of Padhmanateswara. So they have given how the blessing has meaningful when they were doing the performance. That's what I thought, and that's what I got it from the presentation. And on top of that, I'm really happy to see that how the Hong Kong people have recognized the Newa tradition, how they love the Newa tradition. Even as on the presentation that she has introduced about how the Newa tradition has flourished in Japan and how it is doing in the Hong Kong, right? These are the things that we should be very proud. And same way that we have always the fear of the transfer of knowledge, and how the not only the Newa people, the all over the world, that yes, who has recognized the Newa tradition, Newa heritage, Newa culture, how they have been transferring the knowledge. So I really applaud all of the, yes, those kind-hearted people who has acknowledged the Newa tradition and who has been practicing throughout the world. And uh, again, yes, if we have any more questions, right, or any more comments, that I would like to welcome. And on the note of Dayasakya, would you like to add anything, Eliza? Do you have anything to add on the Dayasakya's note?
Definitely, it's another research topic, Daya. And we are actually very honored. Honestly, I mean, I mean, 5 years ago, I wouldn't imagine myself interested in, this ancient cultural heritage, and actually myself practicing it. So this actually is telling us. I mean, when I research on the work of Takeoka, and also the inspiration it had on the Japanese temple and the sculptor Lin Jiancheng, how he brought Avalokiteshvara in his work, and actually his last breath was on finishing of the sculpture, the 108. It was just like, I watched those videos. They were so amazing, and how actually cultures affect each other, and we bring us together. So the boundaries between countries and so on is arbitrary. That's the inspiration that I got from this, although very short time research, but I'm very grateful to have the chance to look into it. So Daya definitely is another research area we would love to work on.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so I think that we are almost at the end. So I would like to give the floor to my colleague, Prajal Vajracharya, who is also the director for the Heritage Division of All Newa Organization, USA chapter. So Prajal, the floor is yours. So let's go with the concluding remarks, please.
Thank you. So both of you, it's just amazing. So, everybody's have been really touched with that. It's whatever you did the presentation. I was also even my shock, like, wow, how that happened with the Takowakas there. I was just like, see him like it's just like my blessing. So I always get a blessing from him, to going his temples, just being there, it's feel like we also build the stupas in that area. So 90s. So my father's consecrated the stupa in his Bihara in the Tokyo. Now they have 2 stupa in his Bihara in Nagoya. So it is amazing. And also the Padhmanateswor is really important that it is in, no matter it's dancer or not wherever that is. If you need to pray for that to grow your inner talent, that's what the nasya is like. You have some inner talent which is hidden in your own body, and lots of people doesn't know that way. Like you just follow with the other part, like you do lots of different things which is not in your body. So nasya means that way is like bring you that inner talents to share with the other people. So that's why whatever you are doing, it's whatever you have in your talents, if you can get it out, and that's where the success come. So another part of it became as a lure of dance and music and art, because dance, music, and art, it just give you so much pleasure, so much joy, so much happy, so much liberating. For the life, what do you need it for the life? For the life is you need to live in a happy way. You need to live in a joyful way. You need to live in the communities to blend and making happy everywhere. That's the Buddha nature. So having the Padhmanateswor and visualizing the Padhmanateswor and bringing the Padhmanateswor is the joy, and that's ways to lead to the liberations. And the other parts with the Daya is mentioned about only hole in Nepal, and there's no such a figure. So idea is like the Buddhist principles about you have so much talent, it is hidden there, you don't see that it's in outside. It's basically give you the emptiness, source of the emptiness, source of understanding the true nature in a reality is emptiness. So that's why the Padmanateswor is been in the thousands of years. It's been carried on, and any things you do, so you need to seed the plants. So this what I do. It's make me liberation. Let me make me joy. Make me happy. So that's why they are in the, every corner in the Kathmandu Valley. There is a nasya, and Padmanateswor is a little bit um, not known outside because we have a different culture and different politics, so it's moving into different directions, and it became everything is to the Nataraja because there are more populations in a Nataraja. It goes to all the Shiva. So and newer people like the Buddhist people especially like they just do own practice to happiness for own. That's why the newer heritage has been preserving for thousands of years. It just they don't want if people doesn't what to call people like in all different religions and all different peoples, they came because this is they try to making a distinct discriminations, which is like oh, this is not my art, this is not my part, this is not my religions, and those people's making a discrimination. But newer people just keeping it inside and creating the happiness. If you go in Nepal, that's what's the beautiful about the Kathmandu valleys. In every 5 minutes, if you walk, there is a Buddhas and Bodhisattvas always there. So where this Buddhas and Bodhisattva with the art, this is also statues and paintings and sculptures and all. These are the art. Art is coming from the sources of art is the Nateshwara. It's a lot of dance, a lot of music, lots of, those are the art because whoever they created, whoever they make it that way, they are so happy with this. So happiness to live, happiness to maintain, happiness the way of living a life, it is the Padmanateswara is. That's why they're holding the 10 arms. That's also the other part with the 10 arms, like there's no beyond than 10. If if you have a 10, you have a whole infinite is there. Whole universe is there, and they hold with the different tools. That's also the other part. What do you need it for the life? Life needed for the like a lotus, life needed for the mala. Those are the two like how you can the understanding this nature, how you can understanding with the transformations that nature within ourselves to becomes as the part of the nature. So they are the little tools. It's a give you that way you can live in a happy way and you can be liberations in this present lifetime. So that is, and also that if you go to the Hebrew tantras, other tantra, without dance and the music, forget you done liberation stage. But in a part of the dance and the music, that's not like the what you see in the present day as the dance. So dance means like the basically it's a meditations and conscious mind to work, and singing is like a mantras. Singing is like the how you speak the language. Its effect to the other people, because if it's good way of speaking, that means it is the tool to other people's brains and minds how they take in. If you speak with a harsh word, it is bad, it is taken in a different way. So every mantra, every word, it is become as the mantras in the practice of the Dharma. So that's why they have a rules and regulations make it this process to get the liberations. So you need to speak in a proper way, a proper language. That's they also say the siddhi. Siddhi is that way, is the skillful way of speaking. That is, it's every person's want to hear in a different way. So you need to have a siddhi to speak in the particular person, particular way. Then it will be meaningful. Otherwise, like okay, I'm speaking, talking to somebody who doesn't care. Like I'm talking to Buddhism for the other people, like who doesn't care. What is the point of the speaking with this, So that's why siddhi is that is the way they use the terminology, they use that path. So I speak that is meaningful for that person who can hear properly. That's the other reasons with the Sakyamuni Buddha, 84,000 sutras come there. He speak basically based on who are the people. So that is the all about the nasya is the emptiness whole. It's there with the they have a eyes open. They also the if you see the NASA there. There's nothing there basically. Eyes basically. It means sometimes doesn't have a mouth or nose or anything. The eyes you see that way, and also the reality in the natures and the reality. If you look into the natures and reality, there's a the you need to have a satisfy for your life and for your minds and for your body. You need to satisfy for your eyes. If you have a pleasure with your eyes, anything you see, anything you experience with the eyes, that is the first satisfactions it's happenings. Then it's take into the body and making transformations the happening. So that's why it's in the nasya always with the two eyes there most of the time. So that's why when you go to see, emptiness is there, what you need it, like if you close the eyes, if you open the eyes, if you whatever's needed it does with the eyes. And eyes is like the key point to awakenings in an inner part of the body. That's why it's Padhmanateswor is the key point for the, I think, if people who want to know, or if people can follow with the Padmanateswara, that is the we can live in a happy life in the until we die. So that's the so thank you for choosing that part with the Padmanateswara. It's not easy topics and it's not that much sources. As they say, we need to have a different studies have to be done, that deeper studies have to be done in the Padmanateswara, and not that much been done because in a scholars levels in a Nyawa Buddhist traditions, it's not that much people who's going to study, or in Nepal especially doesn't have a budget to do anything there, so we don't produce in a scholars that much in Nepal. So, but there's lots of different topics as a part of the heritage. Is so many different topics in a Nepal, which is need to bring that into a life, and so people can connect it and people can respect and honor, and that's why we move forward and making the liberations. So so I should thank you for the promise to host this, and also the thank you for the Tina and Eliza. So get to know you, long times. It's been for a while right now. Not only 2000 we have a. I used to come in Hong Kong when the Lians was living there. So Lian is, and then she was started teaching there. But Hong Kong dance mandal is from only the 2000. So that is so happy. That is, I also give you thank you for the Lians who started in Hong Kong. So that is happening. So, and Hong Kong is my first students in Portland. So, when I come to the Portland. So thank you for joining. It is wonderful. So, and we will keep continues with this, next topics. I don't know who will be joining in next topic for the giving of presentations, and yeah, that will be great, and we'll move forward. And Tuesday is my presentation. Please join. This is the high level of scholars presentations, so I have to do it. It's also the one of that, also the part of the heritage kind of, which is about a stupa in a Kathmandu Valley. They have a 3,000 stupa. It's based on the Vajradhatu Mandala, and then Vajradhatu Mandala is been in Nepal for decades, like so that is my topics to give a talk on next coming Tuesday, 7 o'clock. Link is in my webpage. Also, if you to sign up for the link with them, they will send you the link for whole serials of the talk. So we have a whole month after July. We'll be giving talk on based on that, the Vajradhatu Mandala. So
We
yeah,
stop
you can join.
live.
It will be great. So
Promise.
closings today for this part. Anybody, any things to say? I think so. We should stop recording and
Can we stop live? Then I can speak a little bit.